So I'm coming out of the apartment, and there are a group of guys over on the other side of the street. And they're just kind of congregated together. I'm from New York, so that spells trouble, nothing else to do. And so I heard, I'm walking away from them toward the corner, and then I was going to make a left, and I heard, "Yo," like that. And I'm thinking, I know they're talking to me, but my name is not Yo, so I'm going to keep walking, and hopefully they'll give up, Yo, you with the case. So I knew,
All right.
That's me.
That's you.
And so I remembered reading something about the Titanic and how if the Titanic had gone straight into the iceberg, it would have broken the ice and it would be unscathed. Instead, it tried to avoid the iceberg and it tore a hole in the side and the mighty Titanic sunk. So the Lord impressed me to walk toward the iceberg and go straight on to that group of young people, probably about, 8 or 10 of them or more. So I'm walking toward them, and they start spreading apart, whoa, whoa, and pointing to the one who was doing all the talking. He was the one, they would say. And so I approached him, straight-faced, then I smiled, and I stuck out my hand. I said, I'm Pastor Reed, Pastor Reed, and shook their hand. And from that point on, they were my friends and my protectors when I was in that neighborhood.
Come on, really?
It was just tremendous to see how God worked to move upon them. And then I was not doing literature evangelism at a time. I was actually doing some outreach for the local church that I was part of. And we were just to knock on doors and generate Bible studies because there was going to be an evangelistic meeting down the block in that neighborhood. So we knocked on one door. It was a Filipino lady with 2 kids there, or 3 kids. And she said she had been praying that she was looking for a church. And she said, and looking for Bible studies. And she said, the next person who knocks on my door, I'm going to study with them. And we were the next people who knocked on the door. So we gave Bible studies to her. We invited her to the evangelistic meeting. She was baptized. Her kids were not baptized right away, but eventually they were. At some point, she got word that her dad was sick unto death back in the Philippines. So she ended up going back to the Philippines with her family. In fact, I drove her down to New York to spend the night at my parents' house so that we can get to Kennedy Airport or LaGuardia, whichever airport it was.
Yeah.
And she flew to the Philippines. She ministered to her family, and there were no churches in the area, no Seventh-day Adventist churches. So she invited the church leaders from the next town over to come and do some evangelistic work in that area. They held an evangelistic meeting, and as a result of that, 50 people were baptized, and many of them were from her family. And so just that one individual who prayed, Lord, the next person who knocked on my door, I will take Bible studies from them. And that Bible studies led to 50 more souls.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Tremendous experiences.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had to found this very faith building. You're selling books. That can be up. That can be down.
Yes.
It could be up and down. It could be all sorts of things.
Yes.
There cannot be an Ellie alive, a literature evangelist alive, who has not had discouraging experience. Mm-hmm. How did you get through those times where you thought, wow, man, did I choose the wrong career here, or it's been a lean week, or I'm not selling books? How do you get beyond maybe some discouraging experiences?
Well, again, just like in marriage, I remember how the Lord brought my wife and I together. It was so providential. I mean, we got confirmation after confirmation after confirmation that this is what the Lord wanted, that we were supposed to be together. So whenever we go through hard times, we remember that the Lord brought us together. So He's going to get us through this challenging time. And it was the same thing with literature evangelism. I felt that God had called me to the work.
There you go.
And so quitting never entered into my mind. And I believed that God would provide. He's a big God. And So yeah, there were times when things were a little slim financially, but the Lord always took care of us. I was the sole breadwinner. My wife was homeschooling at the time. So there were times I had a 4-day week. So I was working Monday through Thursday, long hours. But there were times that I come up to Thursday and no sales. And I would have a little 3x5 spiral notebook that I would record my mileage, but I would also record my experiences on there. So that to me was my canvas. It was blank at the beginning of the day, but at the end of the day, I would have experiences and other things that I would write in there. So now my canvas is blank. No sales Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Maybe some promises, but we got to put food on the table.
Yeah, that's right.
So I left a little bit earlier, and I prayed a lot more, and would go out, and the Lord would richly bless. And often it's that 11th hour customer.
That's right.
You know, your last door of the day, and the Lord just opens up the floodgates. It's almost like He's saying, I'm rewarding you for your faithfulness.
Yeah.
For enduring to the end. I could have quit any time, any part of that day, but He kept me going, and He just blessed.
It reminds me of the story. Have you caught anything? No, we've toiled all night.
Yes.
Well, why don't you just throw your nets out there? Well, no.
One more door.
All right, we'll give it one more shot because you've said so.
Yes.
We'll throw those nets out. So many fish, they just about sank 2 boats.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Fantastic. You must then have an unshakable confidence in the primacy, the importance of the written word.
Yes.
Because this is still about getting a message into somebody's hands so they can, it's a pretty old-fashioned thing, the whole idea about getting a book into someone's hands.
Right.
What's so unique or so important or powerful about the written word, exposing people to the written word? Many times you sell a book, you know these people, they love it, they want it, Other times it's like, well, yeah, we'll give us a shot. It's not like it's not like everybody who buys is dying to read. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about the written word that has a power about it that to the extent that you want to see people experience that power in the written word?
Yes. There's a Bible promise in Isaiah 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the things whereto I sent it. So I've got that promise. And I remember a sermon by a well-known preacher. He entitled it Guaranteed Seed. And so I believe in that promise. I believe even if that book just sits on the shelf for a while, somehow, some way, the Lord is going to work it out for that individual to read those that information at the right time where they need some encouragement.
Have you heard stories like that?
Well, your story.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good story.
That's right. I'm a minister of the gospel today because of somebody sharing literature with me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Many years after the first time I received that book, I read that book and my life was changed.